Oh,
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Metal Massacre. The weirdo with a beardo, the czar of Nar, hanging out in this little cozy bar we found, just chilling. And honestly, we got a really fun show for you today. Jason of Dead7 is here today. We'll be on later in the episode, so stay tuned for that. Very enlightening and very fun conversation with that guy.
yeah, man. They're a bunch of younger dudes, and I say that only because we're old. But well,
Yeah.
you know what?
Is he
That's
really,
the thing
is
is,
he really that young? Damn.
no, we're really not that old, and they're really not that young. But it just
Yeah.
kind of feels that way. They're like in their, well, first of all, they've all been around projects, but again, like we always say, I'm not going to step on the interview. I'll let you guys listen to it. But they're newer around the scene after they've already had a couple of bands.
Yeah.
And they're like in their early 20s. But we've had a bunch of up and comers on the show lately, which has been honestly awesome because they're people that their pedigree has already put them pretty far forward.
Yeah.
And they're people that, again, they seem young to us, but like that's really because they build themselves as young to us. But they're out of St. Louis. Dead7. Yeah, Jason was a great dude as their singer. They have an album called Love What You Can While You Still Got Something Left to Love, which I love, like a nice goofy. What's the band? Nile. Nile's songs are always like 75 words, and they're always like the blood of the innocent path while we sacrifice the blood to the gods of the Aztecs.
Blood.
like, okay, cool. But no, but I mean, like, I honestly, I allow in this day and age where everything is very direct to the point.
Yeah.
They found a way to make their band Dead7 come up with like a really nice, cool album title. It's very unique. Cool dude. And they're great metalcore. Like it's something that we've said up and comers. Is that a way to make it sound like, well, they might do something no, these guys they've already played some big festivals.
I hate the word up and comer because it's such a shallow statement. I feel like
that's true, man.
It's like that's projecting that person, project, or entity is on the same track as everyone else. You never know what someone's going to do with their stuff. You never know what their projections are, or their charisma, their potential. There's a lot of factors. These guys are fun. I'm excited to see what happens with Dead7. And this interview, I think, is a good indicator of that. So stay tuned for that. Jason was a fucking cool guy. We'd love to have him back on if Dead7 ever wants that to happen. So
yeah, no, 100%.
We'll be hit you up.
Yeah, man. Like as far as recording, this past week they had Black Sabbath's like One More Time or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Like, but it just it made me think of it.
I forget what it is. I feel like we're horrible metal commentators for not knowing
from the beginning or something like that.
Yeah, something about the beginning.
One more time around the sun.
Ozzy's last fucking show, man. So many celebrities were there. It was packed.
I brought it up because not only were so many bands paying homage, and it's important metal news, if you will.
Yeah,
it's more that a guy that like a lot of people have shit on, but like I also have come to really respect is a guy Youngblood.
Yeah. He's kick ass. He had a music video with Ozzy and Sharon.
Right, and so it's like, you know, it's one of those things where we talk about like up and comer. Well, what is your bar? What is like your litmus test for that? And like it's something that I think that it reminded me of that because Youngblood, who has some fame here, we're just gonna play giant fucking.
He was just starting to get big in America like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 4.
And he gifted Ozzy like a really nice gold chain with like a Jesus cross, and that was the first thing that Ozzy told him. It was like, next conquer America, mate. You should go conquer America because if you do that, then you have the world.
Yeah,
it's like our media means a lot, and so like when you talk about bands that when I say up and comer for one more time, we're in the mecca of heavy metal and like this kind of stuff. Like we are in California is like the birth of thrash and like all these like really big bands. And we have an announcement for Molten that I do want to bring up a little bit later on. That's like another big thrash California industrial metal staple, like namesake. But like it's very much, it never feels proper to say up and comer when it's like this guy's playing festivals, this person's playing with Ozzy, and like it really is just subjective to where you're at. And But for real though, Dead7 is somebody that after listening to him, I actually recommended him to a couple of people that I know like listen to metal that are my clients at the gym that really enjoy it, but they're not listening to, like the heavier side of stuff. They like Spirit Box, which is really heavy, but it's also like, female fronted, and it's on all the major college radio stations. Spirit Box is actually coming to Omaha in November, which is gonna be super sick. I'm gonna try and get some for that when the pre-sale comes out.
We should go to that.
We should go to that. But it's one of those things where like, dude, we're right in the middle of like some of the biggest projects that exist in all of metal. I love our European listeners. I love our European artists and all that kind of stuff. It's just like we're small fish in a big pond when it comes to where you're at with this kind of stuff. So all of this to round back 2 minutes was to say like, now up and comer sounds shitty, but like Dead7 is somebody they should be on people's map, and we're really happy to have him on the show.
Yeah, Jason, really cool dude. Like, I love when we get cool people. Like it's one thing to get like an artist that you really respect or like whatever, and like that's fun, right? You get the big names and you're like, holy shit, we got this person. And often they are really cool people, but I love it when the people are just rad. That just makes it so much more fun. And honestly, I enjoy their music so much more. I'm sure our listeners can like attest to this. Like when you're hearing from this person, you're hearing who they are outside of the music and you're like vibing with it. It makes the music so much better because you feel like a deeper connection to the music.
Yeah, so I agree with you.
There's bands I never heard of that we've interviewed. There's bands I've known forever that we've interviewed. And I feel like the podcast just makes it one level deeper for me because I'm always like, I'll have that memory. You know what I mean?
No, 1,000%, dude. Yeah, no, like these guys, like besides having them to be on the show, they have something that this is to be like their sophomore experience, as they'll mention in the interview later, is that like a lot of these guys were really talented and had a bunch of projects that they really liked, but they're also, like I said, younger. And so the only couple of things that they've done were, in high school or like with their high school band or some of the other kind of stuff. But again, I'll save the rest of that for the rest of the time. But yeah, Dead7 right down the street in St. Louis, Missouri from us. Like they're absolutely killing it. And I would be pretty shocked if I don't see some big noise out of them in the next, like, I mean, be fair, 3 years, like give them three years really hitting the road. I see some big shit out of them, but check them out. Like I said, the album, so you can check it again, is Love What You Can While You Got Something Left to Love. It's a pretty cool title. And I think if you do like Spirit Box, if you do like modern metalcore, if you do like both singing and screaming with really heavy guitars, you'll like what we got going on here. So.
Oh, for sure.
But you said you had a few things you wanted to get into today while I open this.
Dude, just stupid shit. So I know you're a gamer. Dustin does a report, a expose, if you will, every month on gaming, what's going on in the culture, the news, big developments in the industry, called GamePod. He'll do that once a month here on the YouTube, and it also airs on the Spotify and the Apple. So if you guys are into games, video games at all, totally check it out. It's one of the best ways to stay informed, but also to get a really good critique as far as what's going on in the gaming industry. I think you do a really good job of that.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's kind of a current events podcast in a way, but doing it monthly just means like, hey, don't get in the nuance of a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But also do like what's actually moving the industry.
In a world where you go online every day for news, especially if you're a gamer, you have your channels that cover things daily. Like as a World of Warcraft player, I have like 2 or 3 channels that I subscribe to that are like my news outlets, and those I like how they do it. They do it on different frequency levels and stuff. It's fun. But like yours is fun because it's monthly, so it's like let's let everyone have a chance to say what they want to say, and then at the end of the month, Dustin's going to come in and be like, "This is what I think," and it's one big like 45-minute long thing. I think it's a really fun thing that we do. We only did it on Patreon for a minute, but then we brought it to the main feed once we started Metal Massacre. So it's been fun. But I figured in honor of GamePod and just like the fact that we've been really good into gaming lately, I added a couple cool things that I found. So there was a game back in the day, and I'll kind of play it just so you can see.
Sure. And also, if you're on YouTube, you can watch this with us while he loads that up. And if you're on YouTube, I'm wearing sunglasses. I've got a big old fat eye over here. Some shit we ain't going to talk about, and it's hard to look at the light. So this is. I wonder, why is this guy too cool for the room? That's my fault. But
This is it's a game called Terrordrome. Okay, so there's one on Steam right now, and it's called Terrordrome. I forget the subtitle of it, but it's got like Frankenstein and all these like literary creatures, right? And that came after this. This was the original Terrordrome: Rise of the Boogeymen.
Okay.
It's called Terrordrome 2: Rise of the Boogeymen, and it got banned because it uses licensed characters. But it is
yeah.
Video games that I have ever played, fighting style wise. It's Mortal Kombat for horror. You got Leatherface, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Ash Williams, Chucky, 1 Jason Voorhees, 2 Jason Voorhees, Ghostface, the tall man from I forget what movie he's from. I'm not gonna remember the name right now.
I don't recognize that guy.
Suspiria, I think.
Okay.
Psycho Cop, Candyman, Zombie Jason, the Reanimator, Pinhead, and Pumpkinhead.
Dude,
so it's this really fun like fan-made game that you can only really get if you just search Terrordrome 2: Rise of the Boogeyman and look for the download code. This guy has like he put it out there to where people can still download.
Phantasm is where he's from, because we just saw that.
Why did I say Suspiria?
Well, because it's a good movie.
Yeah, but it's got like a little bit of everything, and I really enjoyed playing this. I played it for like a whole day, and I streamed it in our Discord, and I think I want to do like some kind of like challenge between me and you in this game.
Dude,
you should download.
If it's Mortal Kombat movements, you know, I'm down. It's called Terrordrome.
Terrordrome 2: Rise of the Boogeymen. And here's the thing, look at this. He makes his own story based on cutouts from the movies and makes it look like the same, like one clip or one thing.
Yeah.
And he makes a story. So each character you play in story mode has a story that involves every other character from all these other movies.
Dude.
It's so fun. Like
this is some great fan service. Like this is really, really, as someone who plays, like I said,
watch the gameplay of this and then look at some of the backgrounds. Like he does backgrounds from each of the movies of the characters. So it's all like recognizable shit. Like really fun.
If you're on YouTube or if you're not, this would be a good time to check it out. I know I'm doing plugs, but that's really not the point. It's like this is
I want you guys to see this shit. Go find us Metal Massacre podcast on YouTube. Watch this episode because this game, it's like the ultimate love letter to horror, and I'm glad it got made.
Yeah, no, it looks like I was gonna say, as someone who's really into homebrew video games, especially all the Mario stuff I like, and to have people put love and care into fan fiction because something like that they would love. If you can't, what do they always say? The best way to get something done is to do it yourself, right? So like if this is, I can see power meters. This looks a lot like Mortal Kombat with like the style of play and
there are like finisher moves. I'm just not that good at the game yet because it's like really like crazy controls. Like it's not hard to learn, but
there's also some sort of like magic or stamina bar that's being built up or some sort of mana bar. Obviously health rounds.
Mind doing that,
dude. Like, well, first of all, you're beating that guy's ass. Which is awesome.
It's pretty fun. Like it was one of those games that like I didn't really think I'd ever get my hands on because I found it on a YouTube gamers like video about Terrordrome.
Yeah, even this end around stuff looks a lot like Mortal Kombat and the way they like celebrate and that kind of, dude, this is cool.
They all have their own thing, and it's like imagine being Chucky and killing Freddy Krueger. Like you can do that in this game, and they have 2-player mode, so maybe we can figure out how to do that. But
man, if we have it at the very least, maybe we can try and find a way to link it together. And there's, who knows, we can get into
there is a multiplayer server thing you can get into.
Oh shit!
Like you can create a server. I think I never really got much into it, but you like download some server software onto your computer, and then you can link up your computer to it and like create rooms. I think so. We could be able to play this together. Maybe do like a live stream or something.
This looks really good, man.
It's so a lot of fun to play. I'm gonna skip to a little bit more of it just so we can get past this fight because it takes me a while, but.
Yeah, no, but no, this is like the exact kind of stuff that you're, you know, when you talk about homebrew video games, which there's probably only so many fans of that out there that are listening to us. But like I said, I love, we're both PC gamers in a way, you much more than me. But like when I am on my PC, it's mainly for this.
More at necessity first than anything else. But then it opened me up to things like this. And now I feel like I can't go back. Like, look at this background of Candyman. That's literally from the movie. like he does a really good job of actually making it like spot accurate to things. And he takes actual, you can't hear any audio in this, and I apologize. I tried to record this straight into StreamYard, and because it's like a bootleg video game, it didn't capture any audio. I should have just done Streamlabs, and I know that now, and I'm kicking myself in the face. But
these 3D models of these characters look like really good as well. Like this is a lot of love and care.
He uses movie music like played differently, like covers of movie music for the characters, and then he does the actual voice lines from the movies. It's like he recorded them from the movie and put them in the game for certain moments. So it's actually Tony Todd and it's actually Bruce Campbell fighting. Like he did it for all the characters. So like you're hearing movie clip quotes
from Candyman and Ash in this case,
and Chucky and everybody. So I thought that was a really good touch. Like this guy put a lot of fucking love into this. And it's a shame that he couldn't have just like had the rights to all this just for this one game and put it on Steam, because he would have made so much fucking money. But
that's just money and licensing. Like
but I don't think
like why does Tony Hawk only have a few songs or something?
But obviously this guy wasn't in it for the money. He was just doing this as a passion project, and they told him to like take it off stuff. So he just let everyone have it essentially. So go look up Terror Drome 2 Rise of the Boogeymen. It's an amazing game. I would highly recommend it for everybody.
If you know how to emulate, you'll be able to make it work.
Hell yeah. And then I got one more for you, Dustin.
Oh, okay, let's go.
I think this one does have music. If you've been on our socials, you'll know that I've had this for a while, but I figured I'd show it off here today. It's the, can you hear it?
I cannot.
Okay, damn.
The people may be able to, though, since you brought it up as an asset. It might be broadcasting to them this whole time.
It's a death game, the Metalocalypse video game. It was never finished. This is the prototype of it. I'm playing the wheelchair game.
That's Paperboy.
Face plays. Yeah, it says new legs at 1,000,000 points. It's pretty fun.
So it's like an arcade. For those that's listening that can't see it, it's like an arcade room.
Yeah,
or in the Metalocalypse universe, like at Mordhouse.
Yeah, you're in Mordhouse. You're a clocketeer.
Where you always see them. Always, if you watch Death Clock, they're half the scenes when they're just at Mordhouse, and they're not doing something silly. They're just like playing arcade games in their living room, and it's just got a bunch of different arcade games inside of an area. And then there's the side room that he's in that's got a bunch of power ups that look like almost like.
They're like treasures and artifacts.
Yeah, things that you can get in to like help your game, or like just to unlock stuff like an old game. But you're
Blood Ocean DVD. They're just like different artifacts and trophies essentially you get for like playing the game, and I unlocked all of them.
Well, if it's based on like paper, are there other games in there besides the wheelchair Paperboy one?
No, that's the only one you can play.
That's fair. That's fine.
Which, I mean, this was a prototype game. When you get through the death game, you get to the end, and then the further into the game you get, the less finished it is. So like when you get to the final boss battle, it's like really weird, and the music is off, and it's not really good. It's like test music, not Death Clock music, and like it's just weird shit. There's a level that you play in here, and it glitches out every time after you do too good at it, and it kicks you out of the game.
I remember you. Now this is all starting to like deja vu style ring a bell. You've told me about this before.
Yeah.
Like a long time ago. So that's cool. This still exists, man.
Yeah,
like these fan service things.
Of this because I've gone through like 2 or 3 computers since I originally found out about this because of stupid issues. So I was like, how do I get this back? And if you go to our Discord, actually, under death announcements in Deathcast, we have the Google Drive file link for this prototype. So if you want to get the death game, join our Discord, discord.gg/weeklygeekly. Whoa, holy shit.
Freudian. The Freudian slip.
Discord.com. Discord. Jesus Christ.
You broke
Metal
your brain.
Massacre. Discord.gg/Metal Massacre. Dear God.
See what you did?
I had a moment there.
That's okay. We're not that far removed. I'll still allow it.
It's been a year or so. But yeah, check us out on Discord. You can get the link for this game if you want to play it. There's a Guitar Hero thing you can do here and play Death Clock songs like Guitar Hero. I thought that was a good touch. But yeah.
No, it's a beautiful game. It's moving really
basic. Cool. Yeah, it's a pretty basic game, but I just thought like it was really fun. Here's how you get to the levels. So yeah. I thought that was fun. I just wanted to show those off for like in the sake of like you guys should go check out GamePod. We talk about stupid gaming, weird shit like that. I might even talk about a little bit of that, a little bit more on one of them. And
yeah, if you don't do a guest GamePod on like homebrew games, like we're thinking of a topic, man. Because I got a million homebrew games I'm super into, and the modding community, like I was bringing up before, is everybody's who's into gaming is very aware of like Nexus mods or Gary's mod, like Nexus mods that like puts things into games. It's like the hub for it, or Gary's mod which is a game on Steam where you can like basically make your own world. It's been around since 2006. I'm big into Balatro. If you don't know what Balatro is, it's a poker roguelike. You really don't have to know how to play poker to play it. You don't have to know what the hands are. But then it's basically a math game that involves a million different jokers that allow you to build hands and scores in a certain way. I'm really not doing the game justice. I would highly recommend, if you like passive gameplay, if you just want something to fuck around with, and you like card games of any kind or roguelikes of any kind where you're going to get a different experience every time, check out Balatro. And if you already know what I'm talking about, or if that's piquing your interest, there's a mod on Nexus Mods. Takes a little know-how to be able to mod games. You got to get into game files and app data, but there's a Pokemon mod for it, and it's called Pokermon. So like I've been a huge fan of like these homebrew things that do push the boundaries here and there, and some things could get shut down, but like my hand to God, like it's something that the main developer of the game shouldn't do. The community should do. Yeah. Because in that way, you don't have to spend a bunch of... That's a longer discussion. Maybe we'll do a game pod on it.
I also have another game that I know how to get that I probably should not know how to get.
Allegedly.
It's out there. If you go on Reddit, you can find it. But apparently some guy still has a file of the Deadpool game.
Oh. Yeah.
And you can download it and play it and use controller and do all this shit. And I was like, that's crazy, bro.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Because it's unlisted. Allegedly. Because they lost the rights because of all the shit going on. So they couldn't keep it up. And they took it off Steam and no one can play it. The only game I really would die to play right now, to be honest with you, dude, and like it's embarrassing, but it's Poker Night 2.
I'm not super familiar.
Okay, so it's a poker game. Obviously, you get a robot dealer or whatever, and they use characters from other video games in the game. So this one had Claptrap, it had Ash Williams from Army of Darkness, and it had Brock from Venture Bros. And like maybe I think one other character I'm not too familiar with, but you were playing poker with them, and the dialogue was like the main part of the game. So they wrote in a shit ton of fucking dialogue for the game, and you could just sit there for hours and feel like you're hanging out with Brock and Ash, like in Claptrap. Yeah, it was really fun. And like when you beat one of them in a poker hand at the end of it, let's say you like get all their money, you get a cool like artifact from their thing. And I was always trying to beat Ash to get the Necronomicon, and I could never get it.
You should definitely pop up some Poker Night too. That sounds fun.
I know it's unlisted because they lost the rights to the characters, just like it always happens.
Oh yeah.
But the only time I had it was this guy named Hank that I used to know. He like, I talked to him for a little bit. We were never really super close, but we were friends. But we linked our Steam accounts, and he had it because he had bought the game. And I was like, "Fuck yeah, bro! I'm playing this every goddamn day."
The friends list kind of shit.
Yeah, and then one day he just unlinked it, and I got depression for 8 months.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not linked into two of our homies' Steam accounts anymore, and I lost like 85 games. But also, my PC is built for work and not for gaming. This thing will run 75 processes at once, but it's got a bad graphics card. We've been playing a lot of Peak.
Yeah,
this is actually top. This is actually
beat it the other night.
We finally beat Peak. If you again, just to give it out because people are like, "What is Peak?" It's another one of those TikTok rage games. Let's be honest. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you're a boomer. If like they're one of those games where the goal is to climb, and it's got bad physics on purpose, and you just want to get to the top of a mountain. But I've never had as much fun as I have lately in a co-op. Like, here's a bullshit $8 game, because that's what it is. It's not bullshit.
It's so awesome.
It's a great game. And actually, the day that me and 420 Jan Michael Vincent, if people are aware, it's old 420 from Deathcast.
Yeah,
we were playing it. Aggro Crab, it's a great indie developer that's made a few like beat 'em ups and shmups and a couple other games. They put out a update, so like they're gonna change the gameplay of it all the time. Whether we sell you on the game or not, like I said, the premise is going up high. They have made it to a point now where they actually put out a patch statement where they're like, we did not expect this amount of response. All the TikToks, all the shorts, all the videos, all the people that are playing it. We've sold over 2 million copies of this game.
Yeah.
And they didn't expect to sell anything. Almost like Balatro, like I was talking about before, was very indie.
Overnight success kind of thing.
Yes. And so now they made like their $16 million they didn't plan on doing. And so they've promised a bunch of updates and patches to this game. So the biggest thing that I want to bring up, since we're low key doing a game pod right now before we get into the interview, is that like you don't have to buy your $40 to $70 games all the time blindly and expect greatness. What you need to do, whether it is a $40 to $70 to $80, I have so many games that are high budget that I'm very excited about. If you like something, and this isn't a plug for us, if you like something, pay for it. If you like something, support it. Because a simple game like Peak, that's cartoony characters, $8, PC only. If you guys in this Discord hadn't told me about it, I would probably never have played it.
Right.
But somebody, whoever it was, whether it was 420's friends or you or whatever, somebody took a chance on it. And then the ripple happened.
Yeah.
If you like something, support it. And that's been a theme on the show before. And so like, to kind of wrap it up before we get into the interview here, because we have rolled about 30 minutes, is there are bands, there are people. This is a perfect tie-in. Just if you like something, I know money's tight and not everybody asks for money. Support things, make a post, share it, be a fangirl, be the person that pushes something forward. Why? Because more than anything else, that's what helps.
Yeah.
That's really, at the end of the day, for anything you support, whether it's a video game, this podcast, another podcast, a show, I don't got to give you all the examples. Whatever they're asking you to do, if you can muster up the time, take the time. And if you can muster up the money, value your money and make decisions, because I've gotten burned. I've gotten burned on plenty of services.
I would say this, when it comes to any kind of financial thing, don't give to something if you don't believe in it.
That's really it.
And if you do believe in it and you choose to do that, that's cool. But if you don't have the ability or you don't feel comfortable with it, word of mouth is so powerful.
It really is.
You know, like share the content with a friend. Let them know how you feel about it. Maybe start a fucking joke that no one understands in the comments. I don't know. Like,
that's really, at the end of the day, that's some of the most valuable things you can do. And I mean that only because, like I said, we're trying to wrap it up a little bit and move forward, but it's something that I think that is invaluable. It's, in this day and age, what does it come back to? When we talk about metal music, it's putting flyers on telephone poles.
Right.
At the end of the day, you can see all the stuff,
though. You know, like that, the current putting flyers up is so social media based that it like is insane.
But I guess I could tell you that, like, I'll remember if I'm walking downtown, just getting out of a bar or seeing a friend or whatever, I'm walking downtown. If I see a flyer on a telephone pole, I'm much more likely, in my personal case, to remember that than the million posts I scrolled through Instagram. Now, it's not to say don't do it. You have to do Instagram. You have to do Facebook. It's half the reason we have all of our stuff at the bottom of the page right down here. It would be silly not to. But if you're stoked about something, tell people. If you want to, and I promise you, if you want to do fan service, if you're someone that's willing to create something like we did Deathcast, or like these people did these homebrew video games, do it. We don't need, it sounds like a plea when you say like, we need more. No, we don't need anything else. There's a million fucking avenues of content. We really don't need any more content or podcasts of any kind. But that shouldn't mean that if you really believe in it, that you shouldn't either do it or support it. That's what's going to keep everything fucking going. That's what gives us really cool shit, like an Ash Williams Mortal Kombat video game, like a fucking indie movie that we all want to see, or like a band that you never heard of. So I'm not here to I'm going to get off my soapbox, but like, I'm very stoked when I see people doing these mods and doing these things out of the goodness of their heart.
Yeah, it's cool.
And doing things the right way. And the right way meaning with love. Just the old school organic way. But that brings us to, before we talk to Dead7, we do want to do one announcement, which we've stayed to up until this point. And if you're on the screen, you can already read it, but I'm just going to read it out. Legends of the Game Fear Factory are coming to Nebraska, and Molten was one of the few that was selected out of a pool to be able to open for Fear Factory, which we normally don't make a big deal of at our shows. We'll talk about them
that's
after
a huge
the
fucking
fact.
deal. Yeah, that's a huge
Fear Factory is huge. Gene Hogland, who isn't in the band anymore, but was the Fear Factory drummer for about, I think, like 2 albums, which again, as big Deathlock people on this channel, is a huge fucking deal. Tony, the bass player from Static X, who's in Fear Factory, has to pass again, like same amount of time. This is a huge deal to us. And so if you're anywhere near an hour or 2 from Nebraska, if you can make a trip up and you haven't been able to see Fear Factory, September 30th at a big theater, with the legends themselves, Narcotic Self, who have been on the show. I did a big podcast about a season or 2 ago. We did our first local expose. We had cool Jesse and Dan.
I missed that because I was at a family. We met at a biker bar and had brunch.
Which is a good excuse, no problem. Yeah. But yeah, no, Narcotic Self are some legends that have been around here, and again, Omaha staple, the Ranch Bowl, like they've been around since those days, if anybody knows what we're talking about. But
those guys have been slinging it for a while. They're doing really well too.
Absolutely, they're back with full vengeance. Narcotic Self is ripping new albums, new singles, and they're coming with us, and we're coming with them. No ego about it, to open up for Legends Fear Factory, September 30th in Lincoln at the Bourbon. If you want to hit us up for tickets by the time this comes out, we probably don't have them quite yet, but we'd love to get them to you. And normally on this channel, because it is a time capsule, we really don't ever push stuff like that.
Yeah, we don't do that a lot, really, ever. But
no, because
the last come out the day after we record it, if not the day we record it. So if you're in the Omaha area and you want tickets to Fear Factory, hit us up. Even if you're watching this on YouTube and you're like, I'm in Omaha, how do I hit you up? Fucking comment, bro. Tell us. Message. We will get you tickets. So
yeah, one of the last biggest shows we've had like that, we've played a lot of cool bands. That's not shitting on our own horn. It's more that we've played a lot of cool bands locally and regionally. We talked about our tours of Green Jello, but like Exodus was before. We played with Exodus, we played with Death Angel, we played with all these big bands, and that was before this podcast. And those will be bands that I would have done the same thing with. So if you want to come check us out with Fear Factory, this would be the time to do it. And shit, if you haven't listened to us yet, check out Molten, check out Oathbreaker, Hellheim, are 2 like new singles of our new albums coming out later this year. But regardless, we normally don't bombard you like that, but we're super excited about it. We just got confirmation literally last night and posted about it today. And it's the next show we have coming up while we're finishing an album and writing, since a lot of you are interested about what we're doing and like what our individual stuff is behind.
Yeah, I've gotten some questions about our upcoming EP too. So like people want to know what's going on, and I'm like, just hang tight. I got some news pretty soon for you. So if you are a Molten fan or you're listening to this, you like what we're doing, the new EP is called Oblivious. It's going to have 6 tracks off it, including the title track Oblivious. And it's going to be fucking insane. I guarantee you, if you've listened to anything Molten has put out, this is going to be about 12 steps heavier.
The heaviest.
But still paying respect to where Molten came from. But dude, there's some shit on here that I can't believe that we got to do this.
Yeah, no, it's heavy. Shout out to Jim Homan at Arc Studios, who's mixing and mastering most all of it for us. Carl Saff at Saff Mastering in Chicago, who's going to actually finish the mastering for us and put it out to distribution. Legends of the Game, and fuck, dude. Like I said, I'd feel awkward even plugging my own things for the 3rd time. But
no, we never really talk about our own shit on this show. But honestly, I'm proud of that, dude. I'm proud of this EP. It's going to be out this fall. We have like a couple little tight ends to tie it up, and then we send it off. So we can't give you an official date right now, but we can tell you fall. of 2025, Oblivious will be out. Will be fucking heavy, and I am super fucking stoked. Like, this is gonna be cool.
Well, without further ado, from Sharp Tone Records, man, we had Jason in from, he was the vocalist from Dead7, to talk about a band that's much more successful than us. No, but for real though, these guys are killing it. The album Love What You Can While You Got Something Left to Love is actually coming out in 1 day from now. It's July 10th when you're hearing this. July 11th it's coming out. So check it out tomorrow. They have a few singles out there, and if you like what you hear, you got a whole album coming your way. Unless you got something else, man, let's kick it over to the album.
All right. You ready? Let's go.
Yo, metalheads, welcome back to the most important portion of the show, where you can stop listening to us and listen to important people like Jason here. But I am your Czar of Nar. If you're new here, we have Lucian, the weirdo with the beardo. And again, whatever direction he is on your screen from me, I'm no weatherman. But we have Jason from the dude, honestly, lightning hot right now, Dead7 out of St. Louis. How about them Cardinals?
Yeah, man. They're not doing great this season, but, you know, baseball,
hey,
baseball.
I'm a Rockies fan, so shut up. You're only 4 games behind. I'm looking at it right now, dude. We're 27 behind.
Oh, fuck.
Anywho. No, but again, thank you so much for hopping on the show. Honestly, we've had this on our little docket for a little while. We've been excited to be able to chat with you, and it's been something that both of us have been digging into your catalog and library for a little while now. But you guys have been, just to get down to brass tacks real quick. So you guys have shared the stage with some huge bands. You've already been able to kind of had this meteoric rise up. The discography only goes back as far as like 2022 or so on Spotify. So where I kind of want to start is, especially for these bands that are relatively newer for all of our listeners, and hopefully we're highlighting them for you. Where have you always been in St. Louis? Are you a native there? Like, where'd you get up? How'd you get into this? What other bands have you had? Give me it all.
All right. So, I mean, really, I'm very new to this whole thing. My first band, we started in St. Louis. I'm born from a small town across the river from St. Louis, so been here basically my whole life. And whenever I moved to St. Louis after college, I was just like, man, I really need to, like, if I don't start a band, I'm gonna like actually be so pissed off at myself. So I just was scouring the area, like finding people, and then I actually had a buddy from high school hit me up, and he's our current drummer. His name's Zach, and we've been going at this stuff since like 2019. We had a little metalcore band that we had started back in 2019 called Make Your Mark. Nothing, it would like just kind of getting our feet in the water, kind of getting our toes wet, songwriting, playing shows, just because we wanted to get out there and see, like, can we even manage this? And when we kept working with our producers, we just kind of kept going back to them and like working. And it was a lot of grinding and just, let's get some good songs. Let's get like a nice catalog together, or songs that we think people would really be down with. And then that's what the first 4 songs that we had, we just kind of like trickled those out. And that's what kind of started this whole thing, was, you know, very, very just like fast. Everything is all very fast. So.
It seems like a blur, because you guys have, like, again, like in these few years, it's been going, haha.
He said it.
He did the thing. But yeah, dude, for real though, it's something that one thing I want to give like my hats off to you guys is that I can tell, even without really being able to glean too much like live show stuff. I mean, looking at socials and doing all that, I've been able to kind of see where you guys and how you portray yourselves. But it's been more something that I think you guys are doing the thing that is so pivotal, that every song has enough brevity and it has enough different moving parts that at no point are you going to be like, all right, I'm going to go rock a piss and come back because this is the same song as this song as this. Every one of your songs has so many elements to it, from like the cleans to the electronics to that heaviest of riffs and beat down, breakdown stuff. Like, there never seems to be exactly one lane you're going directly down. And I think that's so invaluable, because not only as an album is it fun to dig into and listen to, even through your EPs and singles, just clicking through a discography or going to see you guys live, is something that I feel like even if you had to piss, you would stay because it's something so hats off to you guys about that because it's very diverse. It's very diverse.
Oh, totally agree. And to kind of mirror what you're saying, like I think your music, I like to make weird like comparisons to things.
Here we go.
That's how my brain works. Yep.
Let's hear it.
Your music is the casino of music. And here's what I mean by that. There's bright moments, there's loud moments, there's a lot of action, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of you hear this and see yourself in a group of people just going fucking crazy, right? But you've also like edited in these things that like maybe I'm a fucking weirdo, or maybe this is really in the song. I can never quite tell sometimes. But there was one of your songs I was listening to where there was like a brief quiet second, and it went like, and I was like, is that Hole?
No, so there's two of those in Hole where we sampled like a really good sounding like moan, and we were just like, it has to be in there. Apparently, I don't know who slipped it in. I don't know if it was whenever we got done with like the pre-pro stuff or when we sent it to our mixer, but like someone snuck it in there. It's in Blur right before the breakdown. I can hear the and whenever I first heard the final mix, I was like, what the fuck is that?
Right.
No, I kind of like that actually.
And it's nice. It's like you put in all these little tidbits and morsels to like chew on during these songs. And why I say it's the casino is just because it is so much sensory. You know, there's a lot of sensory stuff in this music that creates a whole like feeling. You know, you're not just listening to it, you're experiencing it. And when I heard that initially, I was like, yeah, I did the same thing. And I thought like, how long
was that me?
When did I get laid last? Like, am I being weird? Like, but no, that was really cool. Like, I love those little things, those little fixtures of songs, because they really complete it and they round it out and they make it whole.
Yes.
And it's also just fun to look at people who are like, ooh, they didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the equivalent to every drummer sound checking and doing the Pornhub thing.
Yeah.
It's like it just makes everyone laugh, and I love it. So hats off for those little details too, because it's like blink and you miss it moment, but you also might not even think it's in the song.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Thank you for that. That's I think one thing that we've really tried to make a point to do is we have our riffs, we have the bass, we'll have the drums and everything, but like adding those elements in the background kind of they fill out the space. You know, you like you said, you kind of feel it more. You're not just listening. You're kind of like, oh, I get this feeling of what this song is about, or I get this whole atmosphere of what the song is about. And so that I appreciate you saying that. That's something that we've really always tried to like make.
No worries. It totally shows, and I would only guess that when you're live, do you do tracks for those moments?
Yeah.
I think that's so much fun. Like, and we were just having this discussion about tracks last episode, about how they're always meant to be like spices and seasonings for the set. And it's always more enjoyable to see those types of things tracked than like, hey, we don't have a second guitarist, we just tracked this solo. And I'm like, why? I want to see it played, please. You know what I mean? Which I get it happens, but like I love when bands mastered using tracks in that kind of a way, because it just makes things more explosive, in my opinion.
100%. Yeah, no, we definitely use tracks, and we've never like the only parts that may be tracked for guitar, maybe like those, because we'll like quad track.
Which makes total sense. Yeah,
just to really get at that deep tone. So like we might have like a little bit in there, but like not whole parts, or like part where our guys chugging, and then you hear like the really high tremolo, like no.
Yeah. And like, and as far as it goes, we're all on the same page here. Like I said, it's something that if you want to craft the best like album like experience, or just the biggest live experience you can, that's what it should be for, in our opinion. And again, it's something that obviously everybody, and we said this too, to be the old same horse, is everybody's doing it and everybody's using it. And people are like, well, it's this new age bullshit, people can't even play. No, as far back as fucking big bands in the 70s, they've always had a ghost player hiding off the stage. They've always had this is just a modern version of doing that, and it crafts the experience that you're trying to portray. And having those things in your music and being able to do it I think a lot of people that aren't musicians or aren't on the big stage don't realize how you have to be like, there's a click track in your headphones. If you fuck it up, it's going to be even worse than if you didn't have it, because then it's going to sound so astronomically offbeat, and like, where's the in the middle of the fucking like
way
in the
off.
middle of my
like
solo?
30 seconds off, you don't do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you ever remember going to like your first show as like a kid? Not like your first ever, but like that first show you went to, and you noticed like, that guy's not in the band, but he's on the stage. Oh my
gosh.
And how mind-fucky that was for you. And you were like, did they add another guitarist? You know what I mean? Like, I remember seeing Jimmy Eat World and being like, why is there this like 60-year-old dude in Jimmy Eat World? I didn't know. Like,
dude,
I had no idea.
For me, I was watching, I can't even remember when, but I was watching like MTV2 or something. And I remember seeing Green Day performing live. I was like, why the fuck do they have a fourth? Like, why do they have a fourth member?
Who is this?
It's Billy Joe, Mike Dirnt, Trey Cool. That's it. And then I was like, well, I mean, I get it now. Like, as I got older, I was like, well, I totally get it now. But back then, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Right. As a kid, you're like mad about it. You're like, it's supposed to just be 3 people. How does it not only be 3 people?
This makes me really sad.
Oh, wait. I guess they do have other guitar parts in their albums. Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, Billy Joe can't play 2 guitar parts at once. I'll let it slide this time. But
now we've seen behind the veil in our older age, and we're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
But how else would you do it?
Exactly.
I remember the first time I ever saw a kabuki. You ever seen one of those? So kabuki is where they do the big veil in front of the stage with like their logo on it, and then they drop it, and they're all behind it playing. You know, that blew my mind too. And just like, I love going to shows for that kind of theater aspect of it. You know what I mean? Where bands can pull an experience. And one of the main, I guess, like unintentional through lines of this show is kind of like talking to bands about what they do to craft that experience. Some bands, it's, hey, we have like a comic book that goes with our album. Some bands, it's a physical aesthetic, or even just a light show, or how the stage is set up. What's something that you guys do that makes you feel like you're making an experience out of your show?
We really spend a lot of time. I think I would say every week when we are either rehearsing or just kind of getting stuff ready for live shows. We're spending so much time on our backtracks, making sure that we sound the best that we can. We want to give people, when they come to see us, I want them to see us and be like, man, that sounded just like the studio. Like, that sounded good. Because whenever I went to a show as a kid, when I could go to a concert and see a band and they just fucking kill it, like, they sound so good, you could even tell that they messed stuff up. Granted, they could have been using tracks, but like, either way, when you go and see them, you're like, the performance was all there. Like, I want them to feel the performance that I gave in the studio that I do live. So we put a lot into like the physical, just like giving it to the crowd. And then I really like to connect with the fans in the crowd. I always try to get in the pit at least once during the show, just because I've always liked doing that stuff when I was going to shows. And so like, I want them to show like, hey, I'm still that guy. I still like to get in the pit and I still like to have fun, where I'm not this big rock star, because I'm not. So I want y'all to know that.
Yeah, man of the people. I get that.
Yet. manifest.
Exactly. But
I think it shows. I think it's something that from, like, again, just kind of gleaning through what I can grab online, and really looking for, you guys are going out on a tour of sorts. You got some dates lined up, and it looks like Nashville, Florida, somewhere in the area around there. I mean, we're doing just 3 days, because that's all we could really work with our schedules. So we got Nashville, we got one of our hometown venues called Pops, and then we're going up to the Foundry in Ohio. Sick, dude. The Foundry is great.
I've heard. I'm so excited. And then there's a live like video film or concert videographer, Leo Spanuski. I don't know how to say his last name, but he's going to be there, and I'm stoked to meet him, because he does like live recording for band sets, and
real cool.
She's very excited to maybe even work with him. So
yeah, that'd be really fun.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool to get everybody more of like a feeling of a Dead7 live set that hasn't been able to see it yet.
100%, man.
I'm waiting for like what the next big thing is, you know, and like, I don't know. We're kind of in that same boat. Like, we've got our album coming out on July 11th, and that was
you know, it kind of came into fruition a lot faster than we had thought too. So still trying to wrap our heads around that. But we're hoping more shows later in the year, more in 2026, and just I'd really like to do something cool with merch. Still talking to the guys about what that is, and I don't really want to like talk too much.
Yeah,
sure.
That's
don't
cool,
spill the
though.
beans too early, man.
Yeah,
But
keep it fun, keep it a secret.
Give us all you can. Get in trouble.
Yes, absolutely. That's the thing too.
Well, you guys have a cool aesthetic. Like, again, I mean, any band that is going to, any band, comedian, anything that is going to find, how do my work is proving that I belong in this category. My work is proving I belong in this echelon. But what's going to set me apart from each other is usually the aesthetics, the merch, like you were saying. And whether he mentioned it's a comic book that some people put, there's a gimmick, if you want to call it that. Gimmick sounds negative, but like, I don't think it's negative if it's done in a way that allows people to grab your brand. And you guys definitely have, I mean, even just from looking at your album covers and like the what am I trying to, CRTV looking kind of stuff, and like the overly electronic, everything's kind of this vaporwave looking. You guys are building that, and it's very clear that you're crafting something. So you're in the right vein, man. So don't overthink it. But at the same time, what is next is probably going to be difficult, because as you mentioned, if you didn't expect really to, you guys got signed to Sharp Tone Records, so congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
And you know, having that label behind you as someone who also has worked with labels, you're nervous sometimes, man. Like, how much creative control are they going to want? And when you find a home, which it seems like you guys have found a pretty good home that's allowing you to still be yourselves.
Yeah.
I guess I don't want to ask, like, you know, how has it been working with them? Because it seems like, you know, you're going to have to, that's a lot of litigation and just behind the scenes bullshit that everybody's got to sign the paperwork to. But it seems like you guys have found a good fit, like with other bands around there, in a good home. So I guess, how has it been working with Sharp Tone? Because I love the bands on the label.
Yeah, no, when we first got reached out to, or they reached out to us, I was like, whoa, because, you know, I'm that guy that growing up, I was always, you know, looking at bands like, oh, what label are they signed to? Who do they work with? Like, I love to find out all the different details about, like, you know, who they work with and how they got to where they are, or what label they're on. And got hit up by the A&R from Sharp Tone, saw who was on there, and it's just like, wow, this is if we were to pick a label, if we were at the time, we weren't even shopping for a label. So like, if we would have been shopping for a label, like, they would have been one of the first ones I would hit up. So like, just for them to see us, reach out and be like, hey, we love what you do. We'd love to kind of cultivate that and help you kind of grow that. It's just like, wow, that's so fucking cool. Because all the bands, I mean, one of my favorite, like, I love Don Broco. It's like one of my favorite bands. They're on that label. Fucking Alpha Wolf. 156 Silence is just fucking crazy good, and I'm obsessed with them right now. So like, just to be a part of these bands, like, it's still hard for me to wrap my head around. Because I'm like, I go on their website and like, that's my band's on there. Like, that's what the fuck? It's cool. Holy shit. So like I said, I've said this a million times to a million people, but like, we're still babies in this like scene or whatever. So just thankful to be here, and we're going to keep pushing to just fucking make sure you guys know our name
as much as you can, man. Again, like I said, it seems like a great fit for what you're doing. You've been an A so far. We're only 18 minutes in. You've been a great representative of your band. No kidding, but I do want to pick your brain in specific here a little bit, because as we love we've had drummers on, we've had, you know, guitar players, key players, we've had a whole band on here at one point. But as we love when we get the singer, because you are the voice, you are the person that, you know, musicians, whether the guy standing in the front watching every single note get played, or the random person in the crowd that's not a musician but loves music, like, the person that they gravitate to the most is the front person. And the thing that anybody can do, even if you're a shit singer, is sing and voice your words. And so you obviously, and I know that's been mentioned in other interviews, whether it's with Lamb Goat or whoever, that you had some stuff in mind when you were writing this album. It seems like there's a direction you're going down, and there's you got some shit on your mind that you're trying to write about. The songs are it talks a lot about, it seems like a lot about like love and like the human experience and crafting all of that. I don't want to ask like where you got that from, because it's obvious. It's just kind of, it's coming from your heart. It's coming from things you want to talk about. But can you give us a little bit more about like the vibe of where you were in and why you were writing about this kind of experience and the human like stuff that you're writing about? To be honest, it's a lot of emotion.
Yeah, it is a lot. That's a great question. It, like you said, pulling a lot from just like the heart, personal stuff. At the time that we were going in to write this record, we had already kind of had some ideas of what the whole like general theme was going to be about. A big theme for us throughout all of our stuff has been like death or love, and really the uncertainty of both of them, because death is certain, but like how it happens, when it happens, why it happens is not certain. Love, it's kind of the same thing. You can't really be certain about who you're with or what happens or how you're going to feel about that person throughout the whole time. And at the time of us writing this, I was going through a lot of stuff with my relationship that, makes you feel very uncertain about where your life's going to go, what's going to happen. And my producer, Caleb, who we've been working with for a long time, he was also going through quite a bit of stuff. So we kind of really like dove in on the uncertainty of like relationships, life, what's kind of going on with the state of the world as it is today. But, death and love are definitely the like main focus as far as I'm concerned for the band. Cause like, we deal a lot in uncertainties every day. So like,
true.
I'm sure people are thinking about it just as much as I am, but man, got to get it out there and let people know like, yeah, you're not alone. We feel it too.
I think that's valuable, man. I think it's super valuable to be able to have someone. At the end of the day, some of the best concerts I've seen have, like barely any crowd experience where it's just a sound wall and blasted in your face. But some of the other best ones, and I know Lucian can attest to this because he does singing and vocals on our projects as well. And he's a lot more emotional than I am, and for better or worse, like I said. But like, I think that's what
I don't like how you said that. maybe I'm just being emotional, but
I'm a dead fuck in here. You know that. I have nothing going on in here. My wife knows that.
Yeah.
But so it helps when you have someone that's willing to also, like, you can see on the stage from just an onlooker's perspective that this person's speaking directly from how they feel. And I think it comes off super genuine, and I hear that in your guys' music. I hear it in your lyrics. I hear it throughout everything you're doing, especially with like a lot of the clean breaks where you have a crazy good voice, by the way, dude. Like,
you
really can do it fucking all.
Yeah.
So, but Lucian, do you have something? I'm sorry.
I feel like I was just gonna say, like, I feel like the singer is always going to be the more like emotionally open person.
Yeah.
Because it takes some balls to get up there and not have a guitar or not have drums, something to hide behind a little bit and be like, I'm here, but this is what you're watching. You're literally the instrument. So it's like, there's nowhere to hide. If you have an off day, it's way more noticeable. If you're not in it, it's way more noticeable. If you're really in it, it's super noticeable. So it's like the pressure is on. So it's like, it's more of a position that I think gravitates towards people that do put their emotions and I don't want to be cheesy and say like on their sleeve, but like are willing to wield those emotions in a way that like you use them to like make it a little more fluid, you know what I mean? And it's very obvious with your singing that you put it all on the line. And I think that's what people want to see, it makes the stakes higher. It makes it more elevated. Everything's just a little bit more like in your face when the singer is literally in your face and he's spitting on you and screaming and like, you know what I mean? Like it just adds. And I think you're good at what you do. From what I've heard, at least, it sounds like I said, you put it all on the line, and I honestly really want to see you live, man.
Thank you.
I really do. I want to see you guys play live. So hopefully you come around the Nebraska area one day.
We're up in Omaha.
Hell yeah. No, we'll have to make it out there. I actually just got in contact with a promoter that does Omaha shows, so that would be fucking
We'll buy you a pizza and we'll shake your hand.
Shit, I'll buy you guys a beer. How about that?
Let's go.
Yeah, we'll have a good time.
Yeah, dude, there's honestly there's no shortage of pretty good, to to say good things about our hometown. There is, we're much like St. Louis is a pretty big market. Don't get me wrong. Omaha is one of those ones where we get a lot, but we get a lot of good shows coming here. But everyone that like is outside of here is like College World Series, Zoo, 311, fuck off.
Yeah, most people know. Yeah,
and that's it. But we have a very thriving scene around here, and I do think that there'd be plenty of venues that'd be happy to have you, especially if you guys are talking about going up to like the Foundry in Ohio. Mm-hmm. While you guys are making your first rounds out, I mean, shit, I'm trying to basically just convince you that you should come up here and find a way to do it, and we'll make it worth your time, man.
Definitely. I will say, out of all the places we've played, Omaha has the best green rooms. That's my selling point to you.
Okay.
Best green rooms and probably best pizza places within walking distance.
That's so clutch because everything around St. Louis closes so fucking early. When
really?
Playing. Yeah, dude. There's like a select few places that you can go to, and at that point, it's just like, man, I'm just gonna fucking go pass out at my house.
See, a lot of the town does, I guess. At like 9 o'clock is kind of the closing time. But then we have like little tiny neighborhoods that are like bar neighborhoods with like one main street. And like they've got like the really hipster areas and like the pizzas and all that stuff and the beer arcades and stuff like that. They'll stay open late and they're all right next to these two venues. So it's like perfect. You get done with your set, you want to go have a beer and play some fucking Mortal Kombat, you're more than welcome. So yeah,
wonderful.
Omaha is a great music town for that reason alone. And I think that again, it's an entertainment city as much as it doesn't seem like one or isn't billed as one. Like literally people are like, what the fuck is there to do in Omaha? I'm like, honestly, you're not gonna, we have museums, we have all that stuff, great, but the biggest thing is that any night of the week we have about 4 to 6 like club to theater size venues that are going to be packed out, and like it's something that every night of the you could play here on a Tuesday or like obviously if ideally like a Friday, Saturday night, and you're going to have a really big room full of people that are just honestly stoked to see people here. And I do feel like every time I've gone down to St. Louis, I get a lot of that same vibe. Like it's something that it's a great town to entertain in. And what we want to do here is going to be put on display because we know that, it's not New York City. Like there isn't a billion things that you could possibly do.
I think that's better.
Yeah. It's better.
You know, like I would rather play in an Omaha or a St. Louis or even like a Kansas City than go play in New York or LA because you're competing with so much stuff and there's so many people. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's such a crapshoot to go to a huge city and like I'm playing in this bar. That's cool, but I have no idea how to get there. So let me figure that out real quick. You know what I mean? Like
10 Ubers later.
Yeah. A train and Uber.
$1,000 in gas.
Yeah. I left my car in a parking garage and now I owe it my college fund.
Fucking A, man.
Yeah, dude. I'm really looking forward to trying to find these next kind of gems for us because I know that we've had a lot of people in surrounding areas. Like I want to I know Chicago is one of the bigger cities, but man, we've had so many people reach out from Chicago, and
that's awesome.
We need to get up there. Had people reach out from. The craziest is when people are like, "You need to come to the UK or Germany," and I'm like, "Brother."
Maybe in like 5 years. Okay.
Like, if you can crowdsource the funding for it, or like if we can figure it out, believe me, we'd be there. So just the fact that it's been really awesome to watch people really like just dig the music.
Show the love, man.
Oh man, I've just wanted it my whole life just to be involved in something where people. They listen to it and they're like, wow, this is good for X, Y, or Z. And they just like it. So cool.
Yeah.
I think you're putting your best foot forward.
Yeah, for sure. You know who I would like to see them play with, Dusty? I just think it would fit. I don't know why. Belushi Speedball.
If you haven't heard of this band, we had them on like a few seasons ago.
Yeah,
and
really good guys.
Same energy, man. We'll put it that way. Maybe not the same style of music, but same fucking energy.
No. It's like they're like green Jello, but like more like hardcore punk, I guess.
Okay.
And their gimmick is that, I mean, you talk about crafting experiences, they just bring trash and they just throw trash on people the entire time. So I feel like having such a clean, like precise set where everything is so like intricate, and then having this band that just throws trash on people.
That would be sick.
Honestly. I feel like that would be such a wild show. Yeah.
everyone will remember it. And like, and what I wanted to say again, just kind of bring it back to you guys, like we talked about like 20 minutes ago, is that all of your songs have so many, they offer so much to so many people that I don't feel like you were like an extreme death metal band. Like if you're going to go see, I don't know, let's just name a big one, like Cannibal Corpse.
Right.
But then they brought, anything that's not extreme metal, the fans of that are going to be like the whole time. Whereas what you guys are doing, and when you're building your fan base, is you could find people that are obviously fans of things like Spirit Box or like modern metalcore, or you could be into just like a good old fucking hard rock song, and you could find those variants in the crowd. And if you bring a good band on tour with you, I don't feel like you have to pigeonhole yourself back into like one specific group of music or like one type of genre. Like you guys have enough of a unique sound that I think that as long as you found some guys you could jive and vibe with, like you could bring pretty much anyone on the fucking road, and it would really be able to be something that would give fans, whether they knew you or not, be like, I remember that night because of X, Y, and Z. So I don't think that there's a wrong way to do what you guys are doing. And it's very, it's exciting. I'm stoked for you guys. Cause again, it's been a pretty meteoric rise in the time, basically past COVID.
Yeah.
If you want to look at it that way,
it feels crazy.
Timestamp forever now, but unfortunately, but well, Jason, it's been a really good time, and you're the kind of dude, like I said, I'd like to grab a beer with you. Like you seem like a fun guy to hang out with. But is there, we always ask too before we go, I mean, like, is there anything that like you would really like the listeners or people that have no idea who you are? Is there anything you want them to know, or something that you'd like them to hang their hat on?
Just when it comes to any music, really, but if you're listening to Dead7, you know, just listen to the songs, whether you like it, whether you hate it. We just love that you checked it out regardless, because just the fact that you took the time to say, music, let's hear it, that means the world. So just appreciate everybody and appreciate you guys for having me on. It's been a fucking killer time chatting with you.
Awesome, man. Well, the new album, Love What You Can While You Still Got Something Left to Love, like you said, it's coming out in July. Anybody out there that wants, there's 3 singles that just came out, and one of them's got a couple tracks on it. So again, you really can't miss when it comes to trying to find out who these guys are. So again, check out the album, pre-save it. It's all available all there on Spotify. Give them some love, the sweet, nasty love they deserve. But
Jason, thank you for being so chill.
Thank you guys. No, I appreciate it.
We say this every once in a while because we'll get cool people, but so many times we do an interview and you're like, God, give me more. You know? Like just talk to me like I'm a person. And
Thank you.
I'm so grateful to have somebody that does, and we are always grateful for conversation here. So thank you for just being open and available for us. Like it's just really refreshing. You know, we use that word a lot too in these instances, but we'll totally keep in touch. I'll add you on socials. We'll let you know when this comes out, and if there's anything else we can do, just let us know.
Sounds great. We'd love to hop back and chat if we need to at any time too.
Hell yeah, let's do this again. I'm totally down.
Oh yeah.
Well, guys, you've been listening to Metal Massacre, the only podcast that forgot why it's here. Have a great day, and be good people.